Hello students, very good morning. So students, in last class we were started about discussion on the chapter thermal properties of matter. So in the thermal properties of matter, first we have discussed about the heat and temperature, and after that we have discussed about the thermal expansion. So in the case of thermal expansion, as we have seen, we have basically three types of thermal expansion, that is linear expansion, area expansion and volume expansion. So today let's see now, as we have defined three coefficient of the thermal expansion, that is coefficient of linear expansion alpha, coefficient of area expansion beta, and coefficient of volume expansion gamma. So we can see now the relationship between alpha, beta and gamma. Means if there is all type of expansion in any solid, like if you have any cube, then that time cube will have surface area, length as well as volume. So all kinds of expansion can be produced in this type of three-dimensional any solids. So we can relate these three coefficients together for these types of solids now. So for example, suppose now we have a cube that has side L, surface area S, and volume of the cube as V. So as surface area for the cube, you know, that is equal to L square side square, and the volume of cube, that is L cube. So this is initial surface area and initial volume of the cube now. Now after this, if we start to provide some temperature delta T, or we start to change the temperature delta T, then we will see there will be some expansion along the length, along the surface area and along the volume in the cube. So if we will see the expansion along the length, that is pose delta L, along the area, that is delta S, and along the volume, that is delta V. So new length of the cube will be L plus delta L, new area of the cube will be S plus delta S, and new volume of the cube will be V plus delta V. So if we have to find out now the relationship, before that we can write the increment in length, that delta L, as by concept we have defined that in yesterday class, that is alpha L delta T. Similarly, delta S, this is now beta S delta T, and delta V, this is now gamma V delta T. Now let's start to discuss the relationship between the terms alpha, beta and gamma. So the first one, relation between alpha and beta. So as alpha is thermal coefficient for linear expansion, and beta is the coefficient for area expansion. So here surface area and length we will just relate with each other. So the new surface area, as old surface area, you can see S is equal to L square. So new surface area, that will be S plus delta L, and as new length will become L plus delta L, so it will be length square. So it means that now we can write this is L plus delta L whole square. Now we can write down in place of delta S this value. So if you will use then S plus beta S delta T, we can write this side. Similarly this side we can write L plus alpha L delta T whole square from here. So in place of delta L, let's put the value of delta L, delta S from here. Now let's expand this whole square equation. So we will expand, this will be L square, then alpha square, L square, delta T square, and the last one is 2 alpha L delta T from here. So in this term, the first term, you can see the L square. This is the previous or original surface area of the cube. So we can write it S. Then the second term, this one term, this is alpha square L square delta T square. So as delta T is very small change in temperature, so that small change in temperature, if it's square we will take, that will be extremely small. So due to that small value of this, if its square will be already enough small, so we can neglect this whole of the term from here. So if we will neglect now the second term, then we will have only this term, this is 2 alpha L delta T from here. So delta T from. Now this side we have S plus beta S delta T. So S will be cancelled out from both sides. Now we can compare this equation from here. So here also L square should be. So here L square. Then we can write now in the next line, this is beta S delta T, and this will be 2 alpha into L square. We can write S. This is now delta T. So as S delta T and S delta T both are this side. I think this is not visible completely. So let me make this one. So I will write this one here. So this will be finally beta S delta T, and this will be 2 alpha L square, that is S. This is now delta T. So S delta T, it's as both are equal in both sides, so their coefficient can be comparable. So if we will compare their coefficients, so beta will equal to now 2 alpha. So this is now the first relationship between alpha and beta that we have found out. So we can see the coefficient of area expansion, that is twice of the coefficient of linear expansion. So directly whenever the side of any cube that will be increased, suppose by n amount, then its area will increase to n amount directly. Now the third one, after this, let's see the relationship between alpha and gamma. So second thing, that is the relation between alpha and gamma. So for relation between alpha and gamma, we can take now the volume of the cube. So the new volume of the cube will become now V plus delta V. So this can be written by this concept, this can be written as side cube. So side, new side will be L plus delta L, and this whole cube we will take from here. Now as delta V, you can write from here, that is V plus gamma delta T into V. This will be equal to now L plus delta L, let's use from here. So delta L alpha L delta T, and its whole square, so whole cube will be here. Now let's expand this equation by whole cube formula. So if you will expand this one, I think this is not visible. So if you will now solve the whole cube, so this will be L cube, the first one. After this, alpha cube, L cube, delta T cube. Now plus 3 times we will have, I think again this one is not visible, so I can just rub this line because we have used already. So let's just rub this whole. Let's start it from again. So if you have written already V plus gamma V delta T, this was equal to L plus delta L whole cube. So we were solving the whole cube, that is now L cube alpha cube L cube into delta T cube plus 3 times L alpha delta T, and in bracket it will be L plus delta L. So this is the formula of A plus B whole cube that we have applied here. Now we can just write it again. This is L cube. This factor you can see, as delta T is very small, so its cube will be already very small. So we can neglect now this factor. So if you will neglect this factor, then only this factor can be written, and let's multiply this one. So this will be 3L square, sorry not L square, this will be L cube alpha delta T, then plus again 3L square alpha delta T, I think sorry, here alpha L delta T should be there. So it will be now L cube alpha square delta T whole square. So again, if this term you will see delta T is small, its square will again very small. So we can compare, just neglect this term also. Now when we will neglect, then only these two terms we will get finally. Now in these two terms, as L cube, you know that is the previous volume of the cube before expansion, and now this one is written as 3 alpha. I have written it at a single place. L cube is again V. This will be delta T, and this side we have V plus gamma V delta T. So as V will be cancelled out from each, so we will have gamma V delta T. This is now 3 alpha V delta T. So let's compare this equation on both sides as V delta T we have. So we can compare its coefficient. So gamma will be equal to now 3 alpha. So if we will see the result of this, so gamma is equal to 3 alpha. So this is now the relationship between alpha, beta and gamma. So in general, if we have to write the relation, we can write alpha, that is equal to from here beta by 2, and alpha is equal to now gamma by 3 from here. So this is the relationship between alpha, beta and gamma that we can derive by the solution now. Now after this one, the linear expansion, as we have all the area expansion, volume expansion we have studied. So let's see some application of thermal expansion where we can use the knowledge of thermal expansion, or in daily life where we are utilizing it. So now the first application of the thermal expansion, like in laying a railway line. So in laying a railway line, always we left some gap between two iron rails, because in summer season, whenever temperature will increase, and due to temperature the iron rail will starts to expand. So if we will not left some gap, then due to expansion the rails will be bended, and whenever bending will create, then accidents may happen. So to prevent that accidents, we are always leaving some gap between two iron rails. Similarly, whenever we are tying two of the string together, then sometimes or two wire, any electric wire between two poles, then always that wire is binded somewhat loose, because we are leaving it loose. Reason is that in winter seasons, as temperature will decrease, so due to decrement in temperature, they starts to contract, means where on heating they start to expand, then where on cooling they start to feel contraction. So due to contraction, if the wire will not be loose, then due to tension that will break. So to prevent its breaking due to contraction by the change in temperature, we are just leaving it somewhat loose there. Now the third application, if you will see here, that is uh, an iron rim to be put on wooden cart wheel is always slightly smaller diameter than the wheel. So the reason is that, again, due to thermal expansion, always there will be some expansion of the iron wheel, and that if we will not leave some gap, or we will not use the slightly smaller diameter, then that time again it will be banded, and due to that one the system will not work properly. Now next is, after this, some suitable gap or some suitable space we are leaving between the girders used for supporting bridges. So for the supporting bridges, we have seen we are using somewhat girders, and in that girders we are always leaving some space. Again the reason is same, because whenever the temperature will increase, they will expand, and if the gap will not be filled by them, then due to that bending will create to expand, and that bending will may just crack the bridge. Next one, if you will see a glass stopper that is jammed in the neck of the glass bottle, that can be removed easily by heating, because whenever we will heat, then that time the bottle that will expand, and due to expansion that can easily be removed. Now next, after this one, the clock pendulum, that's pendulum we are making with a special material that is called invar. So reason why we are using that kind of material, why we cannot use simple any material to design the pendulum of the clock, reason is that when the pendulum of the clock, that's length will change, then due to change in length, its time period will also change, so clock will starts to show wrong time. So if we have to use the pendulum, that's length may not depend on the temperature, there will not change any with temperature. So that's why, as we know also, due to linear expansion, whenever temperature will increase, solid will expand. So if we will use that kind of solid for which alpha that is the coefficient of linear expansion, that is very small, that can be used to make this, because whenever alpha will be very small, then that time on heating the linear expansion will not be there, and if linear expansion will not, there will not be the change in length, and there will not be the change in time period due to that one, and clock will always show the right time. So this is our applications of thermal expansion that you can see now. Now let's see the next topic here, that is expansion of liquid. So up to now we have seen the expansion that is produced by increasing temperature in solid. So let's see now how the liquids are expanding on increasing temperature. So next one, that is expansion of liquids. So for the liquid, if we will heat a liquid, then it has to put, we have to put obviously in some container to give it some volume, and whenever this liquid is heated, the container will also expand. So if a container were not to be expand, means if we want to only study about the expansion in liquid, not in container, because we have already studied in the expansion in solid. So for our study purpose, we are assuming that the container is not in expanding, only the liquid is expanding. Then that time we will study that is called real expansion. And in actual practice, if a container will expand, and what we will study that is called apparent expansion of the liquid. So we will define the coefficient of real expansion. I think real expansion and apparent expansion is clear. So whenever the container were not to be expand, then that time the study of the expansion of liquid will known as real. But whenever the container will also expand and liquid will also expand, then that time the study will be apparent to expansion. So coefficient of linear expansion, if you will see that real expansion of liquid, that is the real increase in volume of the liquid per unit original volume per degree Celsius rise in temperature. So it is represented by now gamma r. So gamma r, this can be now noted as real real expansion in volume, or real increase in volume. Now to the original real volume into rise in temperature per degree Celsius. So this is now called the coefficient of real expansion. Similarly, we can define coefficient of apparent expansion of the liquid. So as coefficient of apparent expansion of the liquid, now that can be defined as apparent increase in the volume per unit original volume per degree Celsius rise in temperature. So it is now denoted by gamma A. So gamma A is now written as apparent increase in volume, this to the again original volume into rise in temperature. This is now the whole thing about this one. Now next one, after this if we will see obviously the relationship between gamma r and gamma a, then the coefficient of real expansion, that will be always greater than the coefficient of apparent expansion, because in real expansion only we are studying about the variation in the liquid, but in apparent we are studying about the both, because variation of container as well as liquid. So we have to separate the expansion of the solids there, and that's why it will be always less than that of the real expansion. Now next if you will see for the water, then for the case of water, as it is showing some anomalous behavior. So what is the anomalous expansion of water now? So variation of the volume of 1 kilogram water, that is V with temperature, that is was shown in this figure. So let's see what is now the figure. After that we will discuss. In this have taken the temperature, on this we have taken the volume, and if we will see the graph, then this graph is obtained in such a way. So in this graph we can see now the volume that starts to be decreased, and it will decrease up to the value 1 at 4 degrees Celsius, and this is suppose 100 degrees Celsius, and at this 100 degrees Celsius the volume is not 1.8 about 0.4343. So what is now we are seeing from this graph? So this graph is also here the volume that is in the order of 10 power minus 3 meter cube. So we are seeing from here whenever at 0 degrees Celsius, if we will see, the volume of liquid is somewhat different, but whenever we starts to just change its, so now we can see here whenever the temperature starts to increase, and it will increase up to 0 to 4 degrees Celsius, then we can see now the volume that starts to decrease, and it will decrease up to 1 into 10 power minus 3 meter cube. And again after the 4 degrees Celsius, it will start to increase the temperature, then water is showing something different. Again it will start to increase in volume, just like the normal ordinary liquids. So here the behavior of the water that is changing from 0 to 4 degrees Celsius. So this is now known as anomalous behavior, while other liquids they will start to expand due to increment in their intermolecular forces. This water that is showing some different behavior up to this 4 degrees Celsius. So we can now measure this anomalous change in water by the dialtometers. So dialtometer we are using for that one. Now if we will see this anomalous behavior of water, where it is helping us, so it is helping in water play or in we can say this anomalous behavior of water that is plays an important role in survival of sea animals in cold winter season. So as in winter season the temperature of surrounding that will falls, and the water on the surface of the lakes on mountain that will cools towards 4 degrees Celsius and becomes denser. So it attains maximum density at 4 degrees Celsius and sink down. So if it will sink down, then the less dense water that will present near the bottom of the lake, that will starts to rise up, and that will be warm water. However, once the colder water that will be on the top of the lake, that will reach its temperature below 4 degrees Celsius, that will become less dense and remain at the surface of the lake, and where it will start to be freezes. So it means that the water at the bottom of the lake that will remain at 4 degrees Celsius, and which will help which is helping the animals to survive in the winter season easily. So I think this one is now clear how this one is changing. Now again if we will see after this expansion of gases. Now up to now expansion of solid, expansion of liquid we have seen. So normally all the liquids are expanding their volume whenever they are applied to the change in temperature, means if the temperature starts to increase. Now let's see for the gases how this is affected by the change in temperature. So at ordinary temperature the gases expand more than solids and liquids. So the coefficient of volume expansion we can see that is relatively independent of temperature for solid and liquid, but it is dependent on temperature for given as discussed below. So as we know, according to the ideal gas equation, we have Pv is equal to now nRT. Now after this, at constant pressure, if for delta V, that is the change in the volume of the gas, and with change in temperature delta T, so we can write now this equation as P delta V. This is nR delta T from here. Now we can calculate by dividing these two. If we will divide, so we can calculate delta V by V. So this delta V by V will be equal to now delta T by T from here. And we can also write this 1 by T. So this 1 by T, this will have value delta V upon V delta T. So as we know, this is now the change in volume per unit original volume per degree Celsius, and this is now called the volume coefficient or the coefficient of volume expansion. So this is denoted by gamma. So we can see now the gamma that is inversely proportional to temperature for the gases. So if gamma is the coefficient, we can see now whenever the temperature will increase, the value of gamma will decrease and vice versa. So this is the relationship that we have got now for the gaseous system. Similarly, we have discussed it for the system of liquids and system of solid. So I think thermal expansion in all matter phases, that is now clear. So let's end our class here with this discussion. In next class, we will start to see the specific heat and heat capacity. So thank you students for today.